Hey everybody, welcome back to some more morning barking. Talking about BPD and NPD by somebody that has both. Hello. Welcome to another live stream. I live stream now. We're living it. We're doing it. How are you all today? What day is it today? Wednesday? Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. And we're doing another live stream because I like doing it and I've got nothing else to do. And I thought I'd talk to you guys. Hello everybody in the chat room. I know you're there. Can you shout out and say hello? You should do that. And I know you're here, you see. That's not what I want to do. Sorry, I'm clicking on things that you can't see. And this is no good to you. Hello everybody there. There you are. It's good to see you on this really warm evening. Once again, I'm going to complain about the heat window we are set at 28, or kind of, yeah, 28.3 degrees in here right now. There's a fan on me. I don't know if you can hear the fan. You can't pay me enough to turn it off. Actually, maybe you can, but I don't think you will. Had a weird day. I thought you'd like to hear about my weird day. We can talk about my weird day. So... right? Hang on. We don't need blues music playing under the background. How am I doing today? Thank you for asking, Corey. Thank you for asking. I will tell you about my weird day. I've been in this BPD NPD game for a number of years now. I mean, technically, like, lifelong or decades, but, you know, in this YouTube business for about 2-3 years now. It's been fun, and I've done all the therapy and all that. Excuse me, I've got a McDonald's milkshake repeating on me. I've done all the therapy and all that stuff, right? But what I've never had is it actually written down what's wrong with me. And I actually have it written down today for the first time ever, which is really weird. Diagnosed with BPD and NPD. So there it is. I mean, I have it on a piece of paper from a doctor now. This is the thing. So there you go. And it's been quite a weird little, like, huh. So there it is written down. I see. That's quite odd, but yet there it is. Diagnosed with BPD and NPD, awaiting assessment for ADHD. Patient feels able to work but requesting home working, lone working due to above conditions. Reports struggling to cope around other people. This is an oversimplification, but yes. And so what this has all resulted in is me ending up with a piece of paper that says BPD NPD on it, which is weird. I wasn't expecting that ever. I'm cool with it, don't get me wrong, it's fine. I'm not complaining, and it's not a shock, but it removes some sort of, I don't know, imposter syndrome a little bit, you know, like it's officially a thing. It's really real. And it's odd to see it as a as a thing written down rather than just symptoms written down and stuff like that. Um, and in fact, this came up last night, like talking about what do you do when you find out, when you get that diagnosis or whatever. And it's so not an important thing that it's taken until now for me to see it written down about me. Right? All the time you've been watching me, that's not been written down. And I didn't need it writing down to either A, know what was wrong, and B, do something about it. And I think the fact that this is taken until now is probably really good. I'm way beyond any sort of diagnosis affecting me. Right? The ship has sailed on that one. It's not going to make me worse right now. And again, it's not exactly a shock, right? It would have been more a shock if they'd been like, no, I'm not writing that. That would have been more of a shock, and I would have been left more bewildered and more sort of, what do I do with you all? Like, if my doctor refused to write on the sick note these things, it's not a sick note, is it? It's a fit note. I'm not sick. Or am I? Sometimes. Anyway, who've we got? Friedrich Nietzsche in the chat room. I love that. I still love that name. It's like, really? Oh, no, not him. Tosin, Corey, Nunya, hello, good evening. And others that are joining us. I've been, it's good to have that thing. Hang on, I've been texted. Sorry. Right, there are some things. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, I do apologize. I'll be more professional in future. I should turn my phone over so I don't see it. What are you saying anyway, Corey? For me, it's just been like, okay, now I actually know what's wrong with me. At least I can acknowledge it and try to cope and make friends and partners aware of what they're into with me. I feel the same. I feel exactly the same about it. The diagnosis was not a problem. It's not. I think we treat it like it's like almost like a terminal illness diagnosis. Like, oh, you've got a thing you're gonna have to cope with now. Like, you were coping with it yesterday. It's not something that's just come on. It's been there for years, and it's been part of you for years and years. It's not just come on. So seeing it written down, it's very weird that it would come right after having that conversation. I was not expecting it to happen. I was expecting something. No, I wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting another list of symptoms or something like that from the doctor, because that's what she's got to work with. But it's it doesn't go into that much detail. It doesn't. It's a fit note, so it's not actually about. It's not actually about my mental health as such. It's not to go into detail with that. It's about just saying I have this, and there are considerations as a result of that, basically. But no, it doesn't go into detail. And the person that wrote it was not in any way linked to or responsible for my treatment at all. So it's basically come from my doctor based on what my therapists have said to the doctor. And it's not something that would ever have been said or given to me at all had I not specifically asked for it, and I wouldn't have specifically asked for it if I wasn't in a situation where the people at the job centre were asking for it. So that's how it's come about, really. Because they're saying things like, why don't you go and do all these things that you can't do? And, well, I have these mental health conditions. And then they're like, well, you need that writing down. Otherwise, it's not a real thing officially. So then I had to go and get it written down. And that's it. Basically. Otherwise, no one would have written it down. Basically, but now it is written down. And you're right, Corey, it's a positive thing now. Right? The diagnosis is a moving forward thing. It's now you know what you're dealing with. It's not an end of the world thing at all. And I think that it's, I don't know, we find a way to have all the things wrong sometimes. We do have a tendency to do that. And it can be very easily done. I like to think I haven't done it, but isn't that the point? You don't know when you're misdiagnosing yourself. Otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. So I don't know if I've ever done it, but here we are. But yeah, it's all, the treatment for these things are very similar. A lot of it's just therapy. Which is fine. And you don't need to know. It's weird that you don't need to know what you're working through to work through it. But you don't. It just sounds good on YouTube. It's a thing we all say. It's a thing we all do. We start it off with diagnosed as this or diagnosed as that. I have this. I have both BPD and NPD. And it's sort of a claim that we make. And we feel the need to back this claim up because we don't have any of the other good claims to talk about this subject. Like, I'm not Dr. Richard Smith, right? That would be handy. And if I could say that, then I wouldn't need to sort of further qualify that. But the rest of it, we kind of do. And we talk about this. I have this, I have that, whatever. And we put ourselves in a box. And we need to do that for YouTube purposes, but it's totally unnecessary. And where I think it's kind of bad of us, but I don't think it's ever been malicious of us, that would be a crazy claim, is that I think we're guilty of putting overemphasis on diagnosis. Because we make it sound like a big deal. And we qualify ourselves with it. And to people who don't have it or whatever, it kind of puts this pressure on people. It kind of makes people feel like you need this diagnosis. And from a mental health healing standpoint, you don't need that diagnosis. So we're overemphasizing something that isn't important. I think we overemphasize something that people don't need to worry about as such. And I still think, do you know that it's the people with 4 markers that get to me? They weigh heavy on my mind. The people with 4 markers who don't officially have BPD, who, even if it was a regular practice that therapists and counselors gave out this diagnosis, they still wouldn't get it because technically they've only got 4 out of the 9 instead of 5 out of the 9. And I keep getting caught up on these people because you think, well, how horrible that must be. Like 4 BPD markers is pretty fucking awful, right? That's pretty bad. That can be really unpleasant to live with. And here we are worrying about diagnosis and being able to say, I've officially got BPD or whatever. And it's unnecessary. We don't abandon the people with 4 markers or 2 markers or whatever. They fix people with problems. That's what they do. The thing that you deal with is the problems you have, not the diagnosis. The diagnosis is very irrelevant. And I think once you've been through the treatment, you see pretty early on how irrelevant the diagnosis is. That becomes very clear. So yeah, I don't know. I try to talk a lot about how it's not important, but maybe I still talk too much about it. I don't know. My eyes have just gone weird, by the way. Oh, at my age, where are my glasses? I also have wicked hay fever things going on at the moment. Big allergy things. I've been out in the sun today, which is not good. Yeah, I'm being hit by allergies live on YouTube. There have been weirder things. So yeah, I don't think you need a diagnosis. I don't think it's important. I think what's important is getting help. And I don't think you need it. It has come at a good time for me. You know, I was feeling a bit imposter syndrome-y. Especially, you know, if you caught my last main channel video, right, where I talked about how I'm feeling further away from these feelings. That's, you know, that's still very much the case. That's not going to stop. That's going to go on and increase more and more. And so getting this, you know, getting that written down, seeing it writing down, seeing it written down, writing down, it comes at a good time, and it sort of positively reinforces, hey, I am broken. Not that I need that reinforcing much. There's a daily reminder, usually. That's one of those things. But seeing while I have you here, yeah, as you say, a diagnosis is only supposed to be able to get. Sorry, yeah, God, my eyes are weird tonight. My eyes aren't being weird. I've got hay fever. It might be. Does hay fever come in cycles? Is that really a thing, or is that just a made-up thing? Where we, like, hang on, I need to look this up now. Otherwise, it's just going to bug me. We're clearly going to be a bit more casual with tonight's broadcast. It's hay fever. Yeah, 7, right? Because the theory is, isn't it, that hay fever goes in like a number of years cycle, and some years you don't have it, and then some years you're really bad. And I think that's probably rubbish. Like, if you've got hay fever, then you've got hay fever. Which, I don't know why, it feels silly that it's the only one with a name. Like it's pollen allergy. I don't know. Do we do it is it a cyclical thing? I know it changes with the seasons. I know that, because there's no hay fever in winter and that sort of thing. It's definitely a summer thing. But what I was always told, and I think it's just an urban myth, is the idea that, yeah, it goes in 7-year cycles. So you can, like, not have hay fever, and then one year you just suddenly do. And because it felt like that for me. Like, I remember when I first had a hay fever attack, and sort of got all the pollen allergy stuff and all of that, and that was in my first year at secondary school, which was back in 1990. So I thought, there's truth in this, right? I didn't have hay fever before. Now I've got hay fever. And I'm not always bad with it. But this year, there's been a couple of like really bad evenings with it. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's just part of it or if I'm dying of something or what. Good evening, Elton, sir. How are you doing? It's good to see you here. I'm just questioning whether hay fever is actually on a 7-year cycle. Not very BPD NPD tonight. I was thinking of actually mixing up these live streams and doing something a bit different. Do they all have to be mental health? It's all a bit maudling, isn't it? Maybe I'm just in a good place. We can discuss how mental health changes with the weather, because that's been crazy for me this year so far. I don't know if it gets more exaggerated when the weather changes so much, but the better the weather, the better mood I'm in. The worse the weather, the worse mood I'm in. It is, definitely a thing. And I don't know how it affects other people. It's not something that I ever hear talked about. But there is absolutely no question that better weather brings me out of myself emotionally, and it's sort of just, there's almost a physical effect to it as well. There is. I have more energy. I am more everything. Just brighter, more ready to go stuff, more, just generally everything is better when the weather's good. And it's that makes me want to go and live somewhere hot all the time. Like, if it was just nice all year round, wouldn't I just feel like this? I mean, I know as children we're sort of conditioned to enjoy the summer, because the summer is your 6-week school holiday, right? You're looking forward to the summer. But is it the summer I'm looking forward to? Is it the heat? Is it the weather? Is it, would I be satisfied if I just moved somewhere warm? Because I feel like doing that. There comes a point where I could be old enough or rich enough and I just don't want to be I'm just done with this place. It's nice when it's like this, but this is 12 weeks of the year. And then it's done, and then it's miserable and grey the rest of the time, and I'm back to feeling grey and miserable the rest of the time. And yet the summer, I've been out walking every day. I just go out on walks. What the hell is that about? Young me is disgusted at middle-aged me for going out on walks. What? Not even dog walks, just I feel like going for a walks. That's never happened before. That's an aging thing. It's not even an exercise thing. It's an I've got to get out of the house thing. I've got to do something. Oh God, right, Turtson. For example, here where I live, we haven't seen the sun in a month and a half, and the weather's still wintry, so I feel down. Where do you live? I'm not going to guess places anymore. I've had 2 tragic guesses on places. Last night I guessed someone was in Vegas, and they replied Belfast. I'm not guessing anymore. I could guess somewhere. Tijuana, Mexico. Right? I was just about to say somewhere Scandinavian. It's always going to be the opposite of what I guess. Are you in Finland? No, I'm in fucking Mexico. There you go. And this is why we don't ask, or why we don't guess, because it's the opposite of where I was going to do it. Belfast is the Vegas of Ireland. I totally agree. Very different places though. Very, very different places. Now, could we see a Belfast Grand Prix in coming years? Now that would be interesting. A Grand Prix around the streets of Belfast. I mean, I would watch, obviously. It's on the lineup. Seasonal affective disorder is absolutely real. I've had the lights that you're supposed to sit in front of and all of that. I think I've still got one somewhere. Or I lent it to my girlfriend. That doesn't matter now. It's absolutely a big effect on me. But nothing that I came across that I tried did anything about it. Because it's, I don't know, there's more to it than just the light. The light is definitely a component. But there's something about the whole mood, the whole period. Like, it's not because it's dark out. Well, it is. It's because it's like so dark out and miserable and cold, and miserable is the word that keeps coming up. There's so, it's just I hate everything about winter. Just to be clear, if I could live somewhere with no winter, I would happily move. Clearly, Tijuana, Mexico is not good. Now, when you say you haven't seen the sun in a month and a half, right? I don't think you literally mean that, do you? Or do you literally mean that? Is that an exaggeration? Have you literally not seen the sun in a month and a half? There's no perpetual night. It's not Alaska. Cloudy every day. Okay, that's a different thing. See, it's like there are places where you literally don't see the sun for a month and a half. And I've been places where it never gets nighttime as well. You know? See, we don't think of right, I think, right, in the UK, I think it's possibly also an American thing, but I think it's more so in the UK. I think we are vastly ignorant of Mexico as a country. I know nothing about it. In my head, it is all hot all the time. Because movies and TV. And the idea that you're telling me that it's pretty miserable in Tijuana right now, and that it's cloudy and rainy. It's like a Canadian telling me it's bright and sunny and warm there. Like, I get it, I believe you, I don't think you're lying, but it doesn't feel right. Canada's covered in snow now, right? Isn't it? They're all wearing big coats and thick hats, and that's because in my head, Canada, snow. Mexico, desert, hot. That's what it is. The whole country. And that is vastly wrong. That is just so ignorant and incorrect. Oh, it's not normal, you are desert. Okay. Maybe I'm not as ignorant. My ignorance of my ignorance is only further ignorance. That statement hurt my head a bit, but I think we all know what I meant. It doesn't snow in your city. It doesn't snow in my city either. Well, it does actually, that's a lie. I forget that it snows here. It doesn't do anything else. Snow is the most interesting thing. I've been getting weather alerts for thunderstorms. Not heard a single thing. By the way, why do I need an alert for thunderstorms? What action am I to take in that scenario? Like, be prepared to go, oh, that thunder's close. What are they preparing us for? It's a thunderstorm. Why is that worse than a storm? I get that there's thunder, and that's loud. Maybe it will scare the dog. I don't feel the Met Office are putting out warnings for scaring our dog. But whatever. So it doesn't snow in Tijuana. we're Wikipediaing. What Wikipediaing? Do, do, do. Well, that's not Tijuana. That's Tijuana. What? Okay, yeah, this city article is about the city in Mexico. Ah, it's also right, okay. I know nothing of it. It has nice beaches. Should I visit Tijuana? A tornado warning in Ohio. Is that normal for Ohio? I shouldn't visit Tijuana. I had that feeling. I had that feeling. Because, again, movies and stuff. I'll be honest, like, a lot of Mexico in my head is From Dusk Till Dawn. That's how it plays out. It's all Desperado, isn't it? I know it's not. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of people who are surprised that Mexico is a majority white nation. I kind of was. What color are Mexican people? I don't know. I never thought about it. It's, and yeah. Anyway, Mexico, our unknown cousin to the west. That's just so far away. It's so far away. It is on the list of countries I would love to visit one day. There you go. You're very mixed, very much like a lot of other nations, really. Mexico's. I looked it up a little while ago. It's a majority white nation, like America, like Canada, like here. Um, but for some reason, it's something that we know we don't think about. I don't know why. Do I know anything about Croatia, Yugoslavia? Now then. My grandmother was Yugoslavian. Um, but I don't think she would have been Croatian. Hmm. I think she might have been Slovenian. I need to. I kind of need. These are questions I should ask my mother, to be perfectly honest. But again, very guilty of not knowing anything or whatever. But yeah, my grandmother was Yugoslavian. I'm a quarter Yugoslavian, and I mean obviously not anymore. But I might be a quarter Serbian. Um, is the thing. That's it. So my grandmother wasn't. That's my foreign gene. That's it, and that's why I get mistaken for being German sometimes, and that sort of thing. It's all that side of the family. It comes from my grandmother, an Austrian family out that way, and that sort of thing. And she met my grandfather just after the war, I believe, and came to live over here in Sheffield, which I can only imagine was a bit of a disappointment. But then again, I don't know what she came from or what condition it was in when she left it. Because Nazis, World War II, etc., left a mess, obviously. So I don't know what she left behind. I wish I'd have been able to ask her. She died sadly when I was very young, and I do have some memories of her. Nothing like as many as I would like, and but gosh, no, I do remember my grandmother, but certainly was never old enough to ask her about where she came from and why she was here and all that sort of thing, and God, the experiences she would have had surrounding that. You know, I imagine she had some stories to tell. I imagine my granddad did as well, and I wasn't, able to ask him about those things as well, which is, you know, there's it's a regret, but I was little when they died, so it's not something that it's not like I sort of thought there'd always be time and just didn't think, like I was a kid, I didn't know to ask people things, so it's uh where are we? So in my state the beaches are very pretty and we do have a forest with an astronomical observatory. Well, um tornado season is here in Midwest USA. I worry about it not when alerts and warnings, but if my cats act weird and cry. Yes, and Corey, I totally agree with you. Animals, no. Animals are the ones that yeah. I mean, I wouldn't ignore the warnings either. Because, humans are animals, and we've got satellites and shit. So I would pay attention to those as well as the cats. I think it's good to have two indicators. That your weather terrifies me. Your weather absolutely terrifies me. It really does. I don't know why there are people living in certain parts of America. I don't know how it came that they were settled. Like when the first people got to Tornado Alley, like why stay there? Like, yeah, no, these tornadoes, it'll be fine. It won't, mate. You're gonna have them forever. But they stayed, and I never got that. And of course, in Britain we have no weather, really. It's and it's fairly miserable. But that's how I don't want to complain. I do. I just want it to be better. Be better weather. Be like this all the time so we can justify air conditioning. We don't cope well with the heat. Does anybody have any BPD NPD stuff they want to talk about? I am by no means requiring that, by the way. Did you ever try to vape pure THC? Is that possible? I don't think that's possible, Zarin. I don't think you can do that. I did once see a YouTube about making weed vape. Years ago. And first of all, it was a case of if the process that I watched on that video was correct and that really works and it's really good, then it still wasn't worth the hassle. Like it was so much fuss to do it and so much mess and so annoying that it's not possible. You're dealing with other issues as well. Heat is needed in the process. Not just the sort of smoke, but the heat activates the THC. It needs to get up to temperature. And that doesn't occur in vaping. And so the process that I saw involved baking weed for a while to get the THC to sort of activate. And then making kind of a vape liquid tea with weed. The whole process looked awful. And then you get out and then you end up with some black tarry awful looking diabolical demon shit at the end of it that does not say vape this, breathe this in. And so, yeah, I don't think it's the thing. And anything with oil, I would recommend against vaping anyway. I don't think that's a good idea. Or all the times when I've read about cases of people being hospitalized or actually hurt through vaping something, they've been vaping oil-based stuff like the CBD oils. I'm really not a fan of that at all. You know. Rich, where send Amazon e-gift card? I'm not card connected to Google or other choices. You want to send? I don't. Oh, I don't know. E-gift card to me, or I don't know. I guess an email address. What's my email? techsupportrich@gmail.com or richardsmith@earlymorningbarking.com is another one. What was I saying before anyway? Yeah, the THC thing. Yeah, I've never tried to. There are so many ways of getting marijuana into your body, and I never found a thing that was just as simple and easy and straightforward as a spliff. This is probably everybody make a super chat because demonetization is on the horizon here, right? There's so many faffing ways, and I hate the faff with it. It's I don't the for me the ritual isn't doing it. All right, it's about what you get out of it, and so the spending ages setting it up and doing it, it's all a pain in the ass. And this idea of like, yeah, I looked into it. Like, could you make? Because I made my own vape liquid for a while. Because, you know, back when you could buy liquid nicotine more cheaply than you can now, it was worth doing, and it was relatively straightforward. And you, of course, look into it like, well, what else can I put in here? And the answer is actually nothing. Nothing that would be effective or do anything or have any point to it. BPD Rave, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Today's been a mess. I'm sorry to hear that. But yes, you've made it here. You've made it here to the nearly 30-degree room of live streaming on YouTube. God, it's hot. I nearly did, like, we should do a bingo card. Like, how many times is Rich going to complain how hot it is in his office? How many times is he going to hold up the thermometer to the camera and say, oh God, it's hot? Because the answer's clearly quite a lot. I'm doing okay anyway. Well, Nunya, that is fucking awesome of you and very much appreciated. Tech support Rich at gmail.com, I guess. I'll type it so it's. I used to be tech support Rich on everything when I did tech and podcasts and stuff like that, and I kind of missed some of it a bit. I missed. Do you know what? I missed that there was nowhere I got to talk about the Apple event and a couple of other things that are just on my mind. I missed that stuff, but do you know what? You guys nearly got it. Is what it was. I nearly put something out on the blog channel, which is criminally underused, by the way. That is that I need to get on with that much more and put random shit out on it. Mind you, that's what I've been trying to do with Patreon more often. By the way, patrons, members, all of this. And if you're not signed up, go and you can do that on YouTube. It's all got the same stuff. YouTube membership. Get the Paisley package. I've been putting up ASMR videos, and people seem pretty positive so far. But I would love any feedback. I would absolutely love more feedback. I'll have 10 shows before I know it. He's right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And this is... I was already planning a new thing. Right? I'm planning new shows, but they're all staying on the same channel. They're all staying on the same channel. And I just want to do, like... It should be easy and straightforward. Famous last words, I'm well aware. Right? All I'm talking about doing essentially boils down to theming the live streams. You take care, Corey. It's been good to see you. So, like, instead of doing new extra things, like if I do a live stream on a particular day, it will be of a particular type. So, for example, Mondays is very clearly that's the BPD NPD day. Is Monday. So if I do a live stream on Monday, it's a BPD NPD live stream. And if I do a live stream on Tuesdays, maybe we talk more about movies or something like that. And, you know, then the live stream I do on Fridays, maybe that could be like, I don't know, the things to look forward to show. And that sort of thing. So just sort of like, kind of just keeping it all in the same, not really doing lots of shows. Not really, just sort of like further defining the content that was already there. I'm on thin ice with this one. I totally acknowledge that. I'm on thin ice with it. Nevertheless, I want to go for it. Because we can't just do mental health all the time. We can't just do mental health all the time. And so much about mental health goes beyond asking and answering questions about BPD and NPD. Right? You know, it's actually just hitting me how absurd it is. Is it a bit... God, Geek Nights, I forgot all about that show. Rim and Scott of Geek... Jeez, are they still going, by the way? I've not listened to them for a very long time. I hope they're well. I hope they're doing really well. I used to love their show. And they were the first guests on Movies You Should See. But yeah, kind of, you know, not quite an entirely different thing. That it would be good if something, you know, everything needs to belong on the channel. To some extent. Everything needs to be, while somewhat related to mental health, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be like classic early morning barking content, if you know what I mean. I'm prepared to mix things up, and I would like to mix things up. And there is plenty of evidence to suggest that is really beneficial for mental health movies. Not a bad idea. I'd run out very quickly, but you know, and a lot of them would be horror movies, which would not make us look good. I've lost my train of thought now. I could definitely do a night on ADHD. That could be a thing, couldn't it? You know, when you're talking and then midway through the sentence, and it's gone. Where the hell is that? There are a lot of movies. Again, like I say, mostly horror. Or sad movies. Like that Sean Penn one. I nearly said the thing. Don't say the thing. Like that Sean Penn one and stuff like that. Forrest Gump. Girl Interrupted. Single white female. You don't hear much about that one anymore. That was big in the 90s. I don't know. There aren't many happy mental health movies. And also, I'm not gonna watch them. I like Star Trek. That's the thing. And that sort of stuff. So I'd rather talk about stuff like that. But it's all a bit tenuous. I was kind of gonna do it for tonight, and then wasn't prepared and sort of bottled it last minute. And I was rushing around as well, so it became difficult to do. But it is something I want to do, and it, like I say, it's good to be. It's good to sort of share other things with an audience. It's great just having like a BPD NPD channel and just doing that and just like 100%. We're just doing BPD NPD, and that's fine. That has its place, but I'm more than that as a person, and sharing more than that and talking about more stuff than that kind of humanizes you to an audience. It shows, you do things too, that you're not just this weird faceless, or not faceless, but behind the scenes lifeless BPD NPD person. It's a good thing to do. It's like why I like doing these things, these live shows, and so it's good to mix it up. It's good to just do this other stuff that is like, let's talk just about some more normal stuff. And it feels a lot more sort of community based to do that as well, which I enjoy a great deal. Right? I like having that sort of sense of community, because if we can have a sense of community around one thing, that can be part of other things. I'm not making sense now. Never mind, ignore all that. I got ahead of myself and my mouth just kicked in before my brain did. I think I know what I mean. But I am also aware in doing this that YouTube is touchy. Not YouTube itself, not the website, but the audience, right? You guys are cool. We're here, we're hanging out. You're happy with this. That's what we're doing. It's good, right? Some people are extremely touchy about such things. Like, I came here for BPD and NPD. You've done something else. I'm angry now. And people do take the time and trouble to be angry about such things. And that's why you've seen me, like, when I've posted different types of content on the main channel, you've seen me do the whole, like, I'm sorry, I won't do this forever, don't get upset with me thing. Because people do. They write, you get email. All this stuff. You can't please everyone, and some people are very vocal knobheads. That is the thing. I'm realizing as well how much I'm saying that is a thing. Definitely a t-shirt idea. That should be a thing. I was just gonna say it as well. And so, yeah, I like the idea of these more like casual hangout live streams, because it's, I mean, look, from a content creation standpoint, this is a piece of piss, right? For me, this is a piece of piss. It's just sit down in front of a microphone and talk for an hour and a half. I've been doing that for coming up to 20 years now. I can do that. I can just do that. It varies in quality, I grant you, but here we are. And we've been going for an hour now, and you're all still sat there. So, it's the thing. But from a sort of preparation point of view, this is so much easier. And it's so much nicer and less pressure. and that sort of thing, still desperately want call-ins. I still want that to be a thing, and I still need to figure out a good way of doing it. The Discord thing is a non-starter because Discord is a nightmare, and I cannot make it do what I need it to do. It's very difficult to do, and so I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out, but we'll see how long that takes. But you all seem pretty positive about the idea of other types of content, especially on live streams. And I don't know that it would come at the expense of other, like BPD NPD content. I think that will all still come as and when it comes. I mention it a lot because I am effectively like market researching and testing the water. I am looking for that approval and for that encouragement, in as much as, like, I just need to know that it's not a crazy idea I've had. Does that make sense? I have lots and lots of ideas. Very few of them are good. Even fewer of them are worth putting in front of other people. And that's just ideas. That's fine. I just need to sometimes check. And I'm still, I still feel like I'm learning YouTube. I'm definitely still learning TikTok. I haven't even started Instagram. But I still feel like I'm learning YouTube. It's a very different place to podcast land. A very different place. And TikTok is an even further different place. But, we'll get there. It's only been 3 years. I've been trying to think of like mental health features I can do. And the one my mind always comes back to it's like, when you're looking for your keys and you're sure you've left them in a place, but they're not there, but you keep going back to look. And I keep being like, well, like a news roundup is a good daily thing to do. Like, what daily mental health news is there that anyone gives a crap about? And yet my mind keeps, but the keys are there, the keys aren't there. The keys aren't there. Right. On that note, I'm going to leave you for tonight because I have to leave this room. It's so hot in here. But you've been an amazing audience tonight. You've been absolutely awesome. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure you've got alerts turned on YouTube so that you get these live streams when they come up. Some of them I will be able to give you warning ahead of time, and others will be a bit more impromptu. So keep your eye out, and some of them will even be on TikTok, which is a different thing. So make sure you follow me on there as well. Go and hit up the Patreon, go and hit up that YouTube membership, go and see those extra videos and stuff, and there's more coming where that came from. So you all take care, you've been awesome, and I will see you another day.